take a look at a few issues, and this morning we're joined by none other than a senior advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Falana, who's not been quiet on internal and, of course, external matters as well. He joins us virtually all the way from Enugu. It's so good to see you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us on Sunrise City this morning, Mr. Falana.
Thank you very much. My pleasure to join you this morning.
Indeed, and all the way from Enugu as well. So thank you for taking time off that particular conference. How has it been going, though? I mean, we saw all of the controversy that preceded the conference eventually being hosted in Enugu. Has that in any way darkened the conference in any sort of way?
Well, I think members of the Nigerian Bar Association who are attending the conference have try as much as possible to ensure that the conference is successfully held, the security was assured, and we have not had any incident. In fact, yesterday, there was no sit at home in Enugu State, and for many of us, that was quite a surprise, because the information before yesterday was that, on Monday in the entire Southeast, nobody can come out, but there was no harassment of any sort yesterday. So I think to that extent, the state government has tried as much as possible to ensure security in the state. And then my colleagues have also been impressed by what they have seen here. Why the governor has been, or the state government, hasn't really been making a lot of noise. And we can see some evidence of governance there, I haven't gone out of Enugu, but Enugu, for me, is one of the neatest, cities I've been to in Africa in recent times. So I think there is some, and the governor came to address the bar yesterday to showcase his achievements, and many of my colleagues, were quite impressed, So I do hope that for the rest of the week, our colleagues will be able to go back determined to actualize the resolutions, that will be announced on Friday, the end of the conference. Because before now, we attended conferences where at the end of the day, nothing will happen. We hope this year will be different as regards to the challenge in the keynote address by Comrade Julius Malema, and that has been the trend. Yesterday we discussed the economy of the country, and I do hope, that upon the conclusion of the conference, Nigerian lawyers will go back to their respective branches and perhaps this time around get more involved in the public affairs of our country. Because lawyers are said here to be the conscience of the nation. If you are going to be the conscience of the nation, we must be ready to determine social justice, human rights, and of course, Pan-Africanism in the interest of our people.
Indeed, well, quite a number of issues. I mean, you spoke about the economy, and the economy has been on the forefront in recent times, and I'm sure that you've had opportunity to contribute in more than one way on your thoughts on certain things that have happened within the economy. Particularly seizing the headlines in recent times has been this conversation around the salaries of public office holders, which has now come up for re-evaluation by the Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Allocation Commission, RAMFAC, which says it wants to take a look at the salaries of public office holders, as well as, the distribution of revenue amongst the three tiers of government. I am unsure what your thoughts are, though, in terms of, even though some people will say, maybe we can guess. So some people will say, what exactly do you think, what exactly are your thoughts with regards to, this consideration, this new process being put in place by RAMFAC to take a second look at the emoluments of public service holders?
I want to believe that RAMFAC has not taken cognizance of the living standards in the country, particularly the harrowing experience of ordinary people. The government has continued to appeal to Nigerians to exercise patience. That is a recognition of the fact that majority of our people are suffering. And if we go by the position of the NBS, you have more than 133 million Nigerians that are multidimensionally poor. It is insensitive, therefore, for any agency of the government, particularly RAMFAC, to suggest that there is going to be an upward review of the emoluments of public office. I therefore want to believe that RAMFAC has decided to comply with the judgment of the Federal High Court in the case of Chima Ubani and the National Assembly, as well as SERAP, AIE, and other organizations that sued the National Assembly to justify the unconstitutional award of humongous salaries and allowance to the members. In that case, the Federal High Court ordered RAMFAC to review the salaries of legislators in the National Assembly downward to reflect the economic conditions of the country. At the material time, I think the monthly salary was about 13 million naira. Today, for a senator, we have been told that the monthly salary is 21 million naira. That was not fixed by RAMFAC, contrary to Section 70 of the Constitution. Other agencies have had to fix their own salaries outside the public structure. So if RAMFAC is going to review the salaries and allowances of public officers, it must take into cognizance many other factors, including those who have awarded salaries and allowances to themselves, Estaco paid to public officers in Nigeria, how many times public officers can travel abroad in a year, security votes, which are now only paid to governors. They are no longer paid to governors alone. Many heads of agencies now receive Estaco every month in millions to augment what they are receiving. So if there's going to be a review, it has to be a holistic review. It must reflect decisions of the courts, including courts that have declared payment of Estaco illegal. So you cannot, in a democracy, have funds that are not accounted for. So the point I'm making therefore is that if you're going to review salaries of public officers, RAMFAC must also carry along the National Commission on Salaries and Wages, so that when you're talking of public officers, you must also be talking of other public officers, other civil servants in the country. So we're not talking about elected politicians. And RAMFAC must take into cognizance that President Muhammadu Buhari in 2015 slashed his own salary and that of the vice president. In 2019, President Muhammadu Buhari slashed the ESTA code of public officers in Nigeria. Under this regime, President Bola Tinubu has also slashed the ESTA code of public officers to the tune of about 60%. So if members of the executive are taking cognizance of the economic situations in the country to call down the purposes of office of public officers. Ramfa cannot tolerate to be justifying increase when the ordinary poor people cannot afford 3 square meals a day. Many of them cannot send their children to school, and they cannot afford medical bills. That is not the time for public officers to want to justify increasing their stupendous salaries and allowances. So I am very confident that Ramsack will have to review his position so that you do not further provoke the Nigerian people. And that's the way I look at it.
Mr. Falana, if I may, I just wanted to, chip in the fact that, if I heard you correctly, what I seem to be hearing is that you're asking for a holistic review. Is that what that's what you seem to be saying? That perhaps some might need to go up.
In the country.
So, would you agree that some might need to go up while others are reduced? Perhaps majority are reduced? Is that what you're saying, sir?
Yes, for sure. Once you devalue the currency of a country, you make it impossible for civil servants to take care of their affairs, to be able to send their children to school, good schools, even to afford rents in the country. So you cannot single out political leaders that have taken themselves out of the salary structure in the country. That's my position.
All right, I know Ayo has questions for you now. Ayo, over to you.
Thank you, Amalkwe. So, Mr. Falana, is it a fair balance then? I mean, you've called for attention to the social investment program, saying that in fact, the word you used was the paltry sum of 32.7 billion naira for the implementation of the National Social Investment Program, and you're calling for more investment into it. If that investment is made, do you think it's a fair deal of sorts? Do you think it's possible to create a fair balance between what the Nigerians get, the underserved Nigerians get through the social investment program, and the increase to the salaries of political office holders? Because there are those who have said that even now there are some government officials who are earning way more than the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, irrespective of whatever other benefits there are. Can you hear me, Mr. Falana?
The National Investments Program of the government was translated into law. It was made into law. You now have the National Social Investment Program Agency Act, which has imposed a duty on the government to fund programs that are meant to assist the poor, including cash transfer, empower, provision of a meal a day, nutritious meal a day for primary school pupils, to encourage school enrollment. This has become a law in our country, and I'm asking the government to implement the law by funding it adequately. There is no way you can allocate 32 billion naira to an agency that is going to take care of over 133 million people, multidimensionally poor. I therefore have suggested that that agency should attract not less than 5 trillion naira. And last Sunday, I did commend the EFCC for recovering about 32 billion naira stolen from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs. And I'm suggesting, as EFCC has been doing in recent time, to return the money to but to transfer that fund to the National Social Investment Program Agency so that the money can be earmarked for servicing the poor. In addition, I am saying, if this regime can endorse the repairs of a conference center in Abuja to the tune of about 39 billion naira, the government should, as a matter of urgency, review the budget of that agency so that the poor, as they say in Abuja, can breathe. Right now, the poor people in our country are groaning under poverty-induced economic programs of the country. It is after you have done that, it's after you have addressed the problems of the poor, that you may want to look at salaries and allowances of political office holders who must make more sacrifice than the people. Because they claim they are serving us. And so they must bear the brunt of the economic programs, policies of the country. They must make huge sacrifice so that when the poor are being taken care of, I mean, for instance, the National Assembly this year inserted about 11,000 projects valued at 6.9 trillion naira. And it was said that these projects will serve the people. We haven't seen that. We're going to prepare another budget. So these are the issues that have to be addressed by the government, the opposition.
Just one second, Mr. Falana. On this same issue,
society.
Can we say, because, I mean, you've spoken about a federal government agency, that's the NSIP agency. That means it's the federal government that is taking care of that. And the federal government has said, according to you, a particular amount of money. But all of these people that the federal government wants to serve live in states. The data that the Statistician General's agency produced is a data across the Federal Republic of Nigeria, all 36 states of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Isn't it out of place to expect that the state governments now should also contribute to the NSIP agency? So it's not just the federal government that is burdened by it, but that the states themselves and the local governments make contributions into the better life or the living standards, improved living standards of the people in their states and local governments.
The last statement made by our organization, Alliance on Survival of COVID-19 and beyond, is that state government, local government must contribute to that fund. And the position is this: when fuel subsidy was said to have been gone in 2023, President Bola Tinubu did say or did assure the nation that the gains will be dedicated towards taking care of the needs of our people and infrastructural development. By April 2023, and you can check this out, you can Google, the money shared by the three tiers of government was 655 billion naira. Last month, July 2025, the money shared by the three tiers of government was 2 trillion naira out of about 3.2 trillion naira generated as a result of removal of fuel subsidy and the efforts of the government to increase the revenue of the country through control of supply of, fuel in the country, crude oil in the country. So if the three tiers of government are distributing 2 trillion naira, in June it was 1.8 trillion naira, and state governments and local government are taking about 46% of that fund. We have a duty to insist that all the three tiers of government will have to contribute at the end of the month to that agency, National Social Investment Program Agency, to take care of the vulnerable.
Well, Mr. Falana, the only hope that one can have.
Furthermore, there is a law known as the Compulsory Free Education Act, which required, and you also have the Child's Right Law, which operates in every state, which require both laws, I mean all these laws require that every child in Nigeria shall be given free and compulsory education. Right now, we have 18.3 million children that are out of school, according to UNICEF. And why? State governments have largely refused to access money. I mean, the matching grant, if refused to contribute their counterpart, fund.
Apparently, Mr. Falana, there are so many issues on this matter.
The children of the poor on the street.
Yeah, apparently there are so many issues to touch on as far as this matter is concerned. And the fact that, I think it was even some of the states themselves that came out back in time to say that the data that the NSIP was using in the previous government wasn't the correct one, and they were trying to, whether or not they have done anything about that, how far that has gone, I guess we have to wait and see. We hope that when you come back from the conference, Mr. Falana will be able to engage you again. We have to bring you into the studio to have conversations with you on this and several other issues. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Mr. Femi Falana is chair of ASCAB, and he is a senior advocate of Nigeria. We appreciate your time again.